So I've been a member of VC Crowd now for over 5 years, and it never occurs to me to end my membership with them, because I understand totally that it just takes one thing, one investment into potentially explosive company of the future to change everything. There are examples of companies in the VC Crowd portfolio that could easily do that. The one I'm going to dwell upon in this video is a company called Happy Drinks Co. Now, if you look at the world of soft drinks, sodas, pop, if you look at that world, it's entirely dominated by Coca-Cola. And there are a few, but only a few other big players, one of which is a company called Fever-Tree, who I'm sure you've heard of. But there's an up-and-coming, rapidly growing alternate company coming through the system that could easily challenge certainly Fever-Tree, maybe not Coca-Cola because they are massive. And this is a big market. The great thing about Happy Drinks is that they offer an alternative to the other big players in that their offerings are genuinely, in the main, sugar-free. I say in the main because there's one or two markets where having zero sugar isn't necessarily a great idea. But in that zero sugar market, they are beginning to really make a name for themselves. And they're getting interest now from some very big players that they've actually signed contracts with. I can't go into the detail of all that because as a member, you have to respect the confidentiality. But here's really what I wanted to say about VC Crowd right here, right now. There are three types of people where VC Crowd are concerned. There are people like me, ongoing paying members who pick up share allocations on various companies that we hold in the portfolio every month. So every month at the beginning of my membership phase, I pick up new shares. They're not always the shares I really want. I'd like all my shares right now to be Happy Drinks Co. or maybe them and IS Bio. But yeah, we get some of the explosive company shares, we get some of the not so explosive longer term company shares. So there's category one, ongoing paying members. Category two is where you have joined, perhaps you've been a paying member in the past, but for whatever reason you decided to suspend your subscription and you're in the club, you have access to the information inside, but you're not right now active. Now that brings me on to a very attractive, in my view, aspect of VC Crowd that we don't talk about enough. And that is that you can pick up a subscription and you can run the subscription for a while and you can drop it if you need to for a while. You can take breaks. And in that way, you could even be selective about the type of shares that you actually get allocated. Because if you pick up your subscription knowing what shares have come through the system this month, then you could be focused very much on those shares. Now, I'm not suggesting that people come in, pay a subscription, stop, start. But if you needed to stop for a while, you could. And then there's the third group of people who are not members of VC Crowd in any way, shape or form and really haven't seen the big picture yet. So I'm kind of appealing here to those that are members but are not active and those who have never really looked. Because as I said earlier on in the video, to be totally clear, it only takes one company to really suddenly explode. Now we have a few companies that have already gone into the public market that could still explode, and we have those that haven't gone into the public market yet that may well explode in the future. But the idea is this. We're all familiar with Dragon's Den. We've seen people with great ideas come to the panel and say, look, give me some money. I've got this great business idea. I want you to help me by funding it. Well, that's basically what VC Crowd do. They look at opportunities they're presented with or they find for potentially great future companies. And the emphasis is literally on that word, great future potential. There's no point in VC Crowd going in and just being no more than a share buying company. Anyone can buy shares in existing well-known companies and maybe make a few bob here and there. You can do that yourself. Just get a trading account, off you go. No, the idea here, the very core nature of VC Crowd is this: get to companies that you would never otherwise hear about at the point when you can acquire an interest in them for very little cost. Now, it costs around 80 quid a month. Actually, I think maybe less than that to be an active VC Crowd member. And it's impossible to say what that 80 quid a month will be worth to you. And another interesting point that people forget is there is an internal trading market with VC Crowd as well. So if you pick up shares you don't particularly want, you can sell them in that internal market for the best price you can get. Now, obviously, there are shares in there that everybody's trying to buy, so they're harder to get. And there are shares that everybody's trying to sell, and they're easy to get. But the point is, there's always a way to bring money back into your wallet. Now, the other interesting thing about that is if you keep your eye on that market, and we'll give the example of Happy Drinks Co. again, if you keep your eye on that market, you can pick up shares that are worth a lot more than is being asked, because sometimes people have to sell their shares or come out just because their financial circumstances have dramatically changed. So that's VC Crowd. What I advise you to do right now is this: if you're an existing member, go take a look at the first part of the last quarterly report webinar that Paul Hardingham has put together. This is going to be in 2 parts, and the next part should arrive in the back office next week. Have a look at part 1. It covers ISBio and Happy Drinks Co. and a few others. Focus on what's happening at Happy Drinks Co. If you ever needed any persuasion at all about why this is a good place to be for you in 2024, i.e. a member of VC Crowd, that should basically sell you on that idea completely. Part 2 is in a couple of weeks. So have a look at the webinar. Now, if you're an existing member, you'll know where to find that, but just go in there. You'll see a section on webinars. There's also going to be tutorials added from time to time now. And if you're not a member, well, you can access that stuff by joining. You can join and then have a look around, look at these webinars, familiarize yourself with what's going on before you need to commit to a payment. But if you're coming in, you might as well say to yourself, look, 2024 could well be the year for VC Crowd to really start hitting some big winners. And now, just before we wrap up 2023, well, what a great place to start. So there's a link below this video you can use to join. I just think 2024 could be the best year yet for VC Crowd, but that's just my opinion. Okay, that's no more than my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. You should make your own decisions, and nothing in this video is remotely financial advice. I just love being a member of the club, and I think you would enjoy it too. Thanks very much for watching.